Time for the Disney List, where we take a look at some of the best across the Walt Disney Company and itemize it for you to hear about. This week, it's all about the Disney Cruise Line's newest cruise ship, the Disney Wish. In fact, our fair and fearless Kingdom Report Live reporter, Gared Hassel, will join us now because he went aboard the Disney Wish recently. In fact, right behind Hurricane Ian, as it was sort of circling Florida, he went sort of behind it, I think, in which the cruise ship took that route, it seemed. At any rate, he is safe. He is back with us to talk about some of the best experiences on board the Disney Wish. Gared, tell us, first of all, share with us some of the best experiences on the Disney Wish.
The Disney Wish is a very cool and fun and exciting ship. It has some things that, could be improved upon. Disney Treasure, I'm looking at you. But for the most part, the Wish is a work of beauty and art, and it definitely utilizes, modern technology and a lot of cool, Imagineering ability that Disney is known for, and they truly went all out with this ship. So to go over that, I'm gonna do my top 4 greatest experiences, and my number one choice is the Worlds of Marvel restaurant. This is a normal restaurant that happens in your dining rotation. So they have 1923 Arendelle as well as Worlds of Marvel, and Worlds of Marvel just takes dining on a cruise ship to a whole new level. It is so immersive when you exit the elevator bay and you just see these hexagonal walls with murals of the Avengers, and then you're walking through there and you hear the Avengers music, da 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 da, and it's just pump you up. You're like, let's get going for this adventure. And you walk in, it's like,
let me eat some chicken.
Yeah, it really was cool. Walking in there, you're like, I feel like I'm a part of this. If you've done, the web slingers at California Adventure, yeah, this is way better than web slingers. Granted, there's food.
I bet it is, honestly.
You're not doing that. But you go in and, the crew, they've got awesome costumes on. You sit down, and as you're sitting, they have video montages going around the restaurant on different screens showing all the Avengers and their different, accomplishments. You see Iron Man getting suited up, the helmet come down, and him just going full bad A-word mode. I don't know if I could say that.
just drop an ass.
Yeah.
Just say it. It's all good.
You've got all the Avengers going full badass mode on this thing, and it shows all the different ones. And it's not just the heroes; it also shows the villains. My favorite Marvel villain is Killmonger. I think I was rooting for him in Black Panther, honestly. And it shows him, just getting all souped up and ready to go. And this is what shows as you're putting in your order and all that. And then there are little cutaways where you'll have Ant-Man popping up, Paul Rudd doing his thing. And he's like, hi, everyone. I'm Ant-Man, and I'm the Wasp. And he's like, now, the first thing he says, spoilers, is so I know you're wondering with the whole Thanos thing, why I didn't, shrink down, go up inside and, expand. But it's a little bit more complicated, and it starts out and then it cuts away. And the story of the restaurant is you're Ant-Man and the Wasp are on the Disney Wish because there is the Oceaneers Club has an Avengers section, and pretty much he's doing a little promo thing, and it shows a battle and a story going on around the ship, and you need to experience it. It's a lot of fun. It's very exciting, and it's funny. And at the end of the meal, you might just get to see one of your favorite superheroes come on down and wave at you, point at you. I will say one did do the whole wink at me, and I felt pretty special at that moment. I don't think he did that for any other guest except for me.
Wow, it was all you. Yeah, he's never done that for anyone before.
He was like, look at this golden goose.
Yeah,
no doubt.
But World of Marvel, awesome food, awesome environment. I wouldn't be surprised if they do something similar on the Treasure, or if they do a Star Wars equivalent version of it, because it really was a lot of fun, and it's so immersive, and there is interaction with the guests where they need you to hit something to shrink and grow things. So boop, you press buttons and you are part of the story, even though stories happening around you are a part of it as well. You're a hero at the end of the day, and Ant-Man tells you that.
Taking that dining to the next level. Very good.
It really is. It really is. If only they could do something like this, in Galaxy's Edge, like immersive storytelling.
If only, yeah.
But
Only.
yeah, but the second probably coolest experience is the pirate party. This happens on the top deck, on top of the ship, and I've like previous pirate parties are just like, hey, we're gonna like sing songs and all that, but this was like a full-on rock concert where you've got dancing, singing, acting on the deck, and it's like 80s inspired rock band music where they're doing Queen, they're throwing out I think some Pink Floyd and just all these different fantastic bands, and they're rocking out, and they've got pirates, they've got fireworks. I didn't know you could have fireworks just on a ship deck. I thought it could only be shot off the side, but they do the the pyrotechnics and all that, and they're rocking out, jamming out, and then wouldn't you know it, everyone's favorite pirate, Long John Silver, the restaurant.
He's my favorite.
No,
he's also got great fish.
I like Captain Crunch myself.
Yeah, that's
He's a
Captain
good
Crunch,
one.
he's a good guy.
He's
I'm
been
a
my
Captain
favorite.
Morgan kind of guy myself, actually.
Let's go.
But Captain Jack Sparrow makes an appearance, and he is part of the show. He's only there for 5 minutes, but he just captures the attention with his swagger and just like how he's the hero that everyone loves. Like, you can't help but love Captain Jack Sparrow. Like, he's the best. I don't know, one of the best characters ever. And yeah, the pirate party, it's loud, it's exciting, and there's a cannon on the deck, and I was like, I wonder what that cannon does. And at one point during the rock, they hit like a note, boom, and they explode. And I actually jumped at this moment. I was like, what? Like, it was just really, really immersive, and it's a huge deck. And because this is a bigger ship than all the other ones, the Dream, Fantasy, Magic, Wonder, the backdrop to the stage actually are these LED screens to where it actually helps immerse the guests in like, oh, we're actually on a pirate ship and all that. So they do
cool.
a solid
neat.
job of that. Yeah. So yeah, it was only a quick 3-day experience, and so trying to get everything in, it's exhausting. Like, you're running around constantly trying to fill in as much as possible. But the third thing is going to be, I think everyone's going to love it, but it's going to be more for the adults, is the Hyperspace Lounge. This is the bar on the ship that is themed all around Star Wars, and this place had a sign out in front of it that actually said, for all guests, please 45 minutes or less inside, so that all guests can experience this
45
attraction.
minutes.
Wow.
And
Limit.
yeah. Well, I remember because my girlfriend Ariel, she got to go on the Maiden when it first launched, and they had it where you had to sign up in advance, and no one could walk in. You couldn't even walk in. You had to get your reservation, and people were in there for hours and hours and hours. And so I would pop in from time to time just to see, like, oh, what's the setting? Because when you enter the bar, you hit a button, it makes a sound effect as you walk in, like you're entering a Star Wars ship. And it's just like, when I entered, my eyes just opened up, and I was like, this is so cool, because it's like Galaxy's Edge, only better, and it's 1/70th the scale in a bar setting, but it still is really cool because they've got the music going. They show all the different Star Wars sceneries where you've got Star Destroyers going forward, or you're looking at Mustafar, all these different planets. And I think one of the coolest and most, I guess, utilizing modern technology aspects is the menus aren't paper. They're actually data pads, iPads, that have the menu on them, and they all the different effects where it's like, it's constantly moving like you would see a data pad in the Star Wars universe, where it talks about all the different drinks. And if you've ever looked at the menu, you might know that there is a $5,000 drink on there. And did I get it? Absolutely not, because I'm broke.
Oh, I
But
thought you did.
I thought you were a baller.
Yeah.
I thought
looking
you were
forward
going to
to
go to
this.
George Lucas' place.
I do. I do ball out. I water polo, soccer ball, football. I ball out.
I also
But,
thought you were a
I-
foodie.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But not a
Good thing
drinky.
these are,
Not a
I'm not a
drinky, I
drinky.
guess,
okay.
I'm not a drinky. I'm a foodie. I'm not a
It's
drinky.
different.
But they had a really cool menu. They had mocktails, and I guess during the day, children can go in there and hang out with mom and dad. But like once the sun's on Tatooine set, it's adults only in there, and it's a really cool environment. It's kind of small. Honestly, you could only probably fit around 40 people in there and really be comfortable. But it really is an immersive experience that you need to check out, because you feel like you're in the Star Wars movie.
Did you make a
Just shoot it.
reservation beforehand to go into the bar, or were you able to walk up?
No. That was just for the maiden because everyone was trying to go on it. Now that things have settled down and you have, families and groups of all shapes and sizes, you no longer need a reservation. You just show up, sit down, have a good time. You can sit at the bar, you can sit at a lounge chair or something, but you do not need a reservation.
Oh, that's great.
Perfect.
I get to go back on the Wish again on New Year's, so I'll be curious to see if for the holidays when things are a little bit more hectic, if they do require a reservation. But I'll be the one to report that.
Do you think it just sounds like they should have built this bar bigger? Like,
Yeah.
Did you feel that way too, with only like 40 people and it being so popular?
No, I thought it should be a lot bigger. I noticed on the Wish there are more bars on this ship than any of the other Disney ships I've been on. And I've been on every single one except for the Wonder. And there is actually a bar right next to the Hyperspace Lounge. It's called Nightingales, where they do like pianos and all that stuff.
Oh, fun.
And I thought, why not tear down Nightingales or just double up the size of, the Hyperspace Lounge and make it, have some aliens in there like you would see on the Galactic Star Cruiser, That seems like a good idea.
$5,000 to do that.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, that's when the $5,000 comes into play. You want to hear music? $5,000 right there.
Big money.
But yeah, there were a lot of bars on there, but I think Hyperspace Lounge could have been a lot bigger. I thought it was really cool. I had an idea in my head where I'd be like, it'd be really cool if Mando just walks in like he did in episode 1 of The Mandalorian.
That'd be neat.
Without someone getting cut in half or frozen in carbonite. Besides that, it would be a really cool experience. Or having, stormtroopers walk through, make it more immersive, but it's a bar setting, so that could get slippery and all that other stuff. And if guests get rowdy,
good point.
You don't want them. Yeah. But Tyler, I agree. I think Hyperspace Lounge could have been a little bit bigger. I think it would have been a little bit more immersive. But overall, that was one of the coolest experiences I did. And there's a bar right outside of it too, called the Bayou. Like, it's 3 bars in one area. It is, I think, a little overkill. But
is this in like the adult area though? Because that's probably why. Because like all the ships have that, right?
They don't really have a set adult area on the boat. So I said some issues with the boat. I don't think the ship was designed as linear or straightforward as the other ships, where this is the adults area of the boat towards the back, or this is the kids towards the front. It's sort of all wrapped around each other, kind of like a maze, where you go one floor up, it's all shopping, but there's a bar in the shopping area. Or you go towards the front of the ship, there's an adults only section there, but kids can still walk in there because there's no real way of keeping kids out. I don't think the ship was designed as straightforward as it could have been, but lots of bars around there. And yeah, it's sort of the adult area. But if you are walking into the Hyperspace Lounge, you walk out, there's a jewelry shop, there's another jewelry shop, and then there's the Walt Disney Theater. So if you are going to see a show, you have to walk past 3 to 4 bars along with some shopping before you even get to the theater.
Interesting.
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
That is kind of wild.
Yeah, I would rather put it, towards the back of the boat.
I thought they were going to do like a
more
blueprint of the other ones, kind of,
No. This one, they removed an entire elevator bay for this lounge called La Luna Lounge, which is like where adults can do Keno or Bingo or like the adult only games. And it's built on 2 floors, which has never been done. And usually this is a singular lounge on the back of the boat. So design wise, I'm not a big fan of the boat. I got lost. On the other boats, after one day, I knew where everything was. This one, I was still turning corners. I'm like, I have no idea where I even am.
I've heard that from other folks that have been on the ship as well, that it feels like it's sort of a convoluted hallway mess, and that you're constantly having to turn back basically and figure out where else you can take a route to get to where you need to be.
Not even a Holland America ship. Jesus, those are the worst.
Yeah, it's not designed.
It's too bad.
How the parks are designed, which is a central area where you can get to any place with little to no knowledge. This one, you have to really Nancy drew your way around this place to figure out where you're going. But the fourth coolest thing about this ship is it's not any restaurant, it's not any sort of show. It is the Oceaneers Club. The kids center is dope as hell. So in order to get there, you can go.
So who
2
dropped
ways.
you off? You know, your parents dropped you off.
They
and
did.
Then...
Yeah, I did get dropped off there, and they were like, "You're 29." I'm like, "No, I'm 9. The 20 is
I'm
just
this
some
many.
weird number there." Yeah, and so this area is built into sort of 4 little sections. You've got the it's a small world nursery, which is it's a nursery for the babies, and it's a small world. Then you have an area for I'd say the 4 to 5-year-olds around that range, which is pretty much they get to have their own Disney Cruise Line ship with like pictures of the characters, and they get to do all these interactive little toys and games. Then you get into the dope areas. Then you get into the area where it's an Imagineering lab, where you feel like you're an Imagineer, and I'm like, oh. Yes, finally, I can be an Imagineer. I don't need to take Calculus 2 to be an Imagineer. I can finally do it. And they have it where you can ride on a simulator of a really awesome version of Big Thunder Mountain, and like the TVs move and all that, and it felt really immersive. I was told to not keep hogging in, let the children ride it. Not
Children.
They always get in the way, don't they?
But then there are 3 other areas for sort of like the almost teenagers, like, the 9, 10, 11, 12. And that is, you've got a Star Wars area, which is similar to, Galaxy's Edge and that sort of thing, where you can interact, and apparently Star Wars character will come and meet and greet. Chewie wasn't there when I went there. I think he was too embarrassed to be around me because I'm embarrassing. But then they also have a sort of princess area that's where people can hang out, do story time, and just, live out their fairy tale fantasy. And then finally, at the very end is a zone that is all Avengers themed, where you're actually in an Avengers like test room. They've got this huge picture of all the Avengers, and this is where you can get suited up and do interactive games. Like you get to do the flingy thing like web slingers, but you get to just become an Avenger and play these interactive games. And at night, they actually have these sort of scavenger hunt type games where it's like, hey, we need your help to find X, Y, and Z. Come to the Avengers lab, and you go in there, you have to find these clues. And at the very end, the Black Panther himself showed up.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, I was nerding out, and like, I've worked for Disney, and I've seen characters show up, but there's something special about like when you see a superhero show up, you freak out a little bit. And he's like, thank you all so much. And he does like this whole like Wakanda thing where it's like hand down, boom, boom. And it's like Wakanda forever. And he does it with you. And you're like, I've been waiting my whole life to do that. It's one thing when you do it like through the TV screen. It's one thing when the king actually looks at you and all your fellow heroes and does that. And then he calls you a hero for saving the day.
Wow.
He pointed and winked at you, and then you lost it.
Just you.
I felt like I could take on all of Thanos' army, and I probably wouldn't survive, but I felt like I could take it on.
Well,
I
have a question. It sounds like you did a lot of the stuff that the kids get to do, and I know like on all the other ships, they'll have like a open house thing, and you can go and check out the kids areas like on the first day, like for an hour or so. Yeah. How did you get to do this Big Thunder Mountain thing and stuff like that? Because that sounds like something that I would love to do, like as an adult.
I did it during the open house.
Oh, you did it during the open house. Okay,
yeah. So when we got on the boat, the first I think 3 or 4 hours are an open house. They don't start the kids club exclusively being children until the afternoon or evening. So I managed to run around and do the open house. But the actually meeting Black Panther and doing that scavenger hunt, that was at around 10 o'clock at night. It was sort of like a late night activity. So I think that adults can have some fun along with kids. Like there were kids there, but there are more adults than kids at this interactive experience with King T'Challa and all that. So there was a lot going on. If you have the app, you need to list what you want to do because there's a lot going on. And a 3-day cruise, you're going, whether that is eating, dining, swimming, going on the Aquamouse, which honestly doesn't live up to its hype. I wasn't a big fan of the Aquamouse, so I can talk about that another time. But yeah, so in short, again, top 4, Worlds of Marvel restaurant, awesome dining experience. The Pirate Party kicks so much butt and steals all that booty. The Hyperspace Lounge is a fun place to go and check out all your Star Wars dreams. Wish it was a little bit bigger. And the Kids Center, during the open house, I got to ride down the kids slide, and let me tell you, you think being 6'2" and being 200 something pounds, you'd slide down that thing really fast. No, No, I almost got caught up and stuck, and they almost had to get like a Disney plunger to get me out because they're like, "Sir, you're going to cause a pileup," and yeah, that wouldn't work. But I got to go from the Grand Hall atrium, from the second floor, slide down to the first floor, and you're like there, and I'm like, this is a really cool way for kids to start their adventure. Like you slide into adventure, literally.
There should be more slides to get from one floor to another.
I want slides
everywhere.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm cool with slides. Like I would love a slide. Be like, listen, we got a 3:30 lunch here. We got a slide there. Let's do it.
Yep.
All the way from the top deck on 13 all the way down to 2.
I mean, those elevators, they get busy. Slide it.
The elevators, I think they designed them incorrectly because they'll have 2 elevator bays of 8 elevators apiece, and you will have on the elevators, they'll say, floors 1 to 11 and then 1 to 14. If you hit a button on the 1 to 11 side, it will work on all 4 of them. So if you're trying to get to the 14th floor and the 1 through 11 opens, you have to either take it up to 11, hop out, walk around, or you have to wait for it. And so,
no, thank you.
That's a bummer.
It gets really confusing. And I've been to hotels before where they have elevators like this, where this is floors 1 through 11, this is 12 through 34, and they don't cross, circuits or whatever. One elevator bay of 4 works with certain buttons, the other ones work for another. So when you're waiting and you're like, I need to get to the 13th floor for a certain event or dinner, and it's like ding, 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 it causes a lot of congestion. It's really annoying, and I can't imagine it's that hard to be like, okay, these buttons work with these ones, these buttons work with this one, because not every guest is going to the same floor. Some guests want to go to floor 8, some guests want to go to 12 and above.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they don't have that little thing that they have at Grand Destino and over at Pixar Pier. Pixar. I said Pixar.
Well, it will be.
It will be. Anyway,
place.
but the little pad that you before you enter in the elevator, you click what floor you're gonna go on, and it'll tell you which bay to go to.
Yeah,
and then they should do that.
It's very efficient because it sends elevators specifically for your need. Like I'm surprised they didn't do that on the Wish.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah,
unfortunate design flaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are several design flaws. Like I know time is close, but there are pinch points where you'll have an elevator bay, Markley Market, and then the Hero Zone, which is sort of having an outdoor basketball court. It's all indoors, so that way if there's storms, kids can still play basketball, ping pong, and it's a really cool area because they even have blow-ups. But you have 3 areas all coming together into one, and if you were going to like a nice dinner or something, because that's in the same area too, and some sweaty or person in the swimsuit runs into you, that could start your night off on a very sour note. The nice restaurants of Palo and Enchante, very beautifully done. I think it's very elegant. It's in its own little private wing, but it's right next to the Hero Zone. But I guess that beats the basketball court being above it like it is on the other boats.
Wow. Well, hey, we appreciate all 4 great experiences that you have shared with us. We'll certainly talk to you more about your experience on the Disney Wish in future broadcasts, but I know that it is the new hotness. Everybody wants to be on that ship right now going out of Port Canaveral. We're grateful that you were able to share it with us.
Happy to help.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.